What's up, guys? So today we're going to play a game. You're going to guess how much money I have to spend to fix my car. I posted on Instagram that I had hot coolant dripping on my feet, alright, burning my foot, which is obviously a problem. But I just got the quote, and definitely some sticker shock there. Had a long conversation with the guy. But yeah, so I had to go to the bank and take out my life savings, which is really just money I had put aside for taxes. But yeah, this is it. So go ahead and place your guesses down below. I will say it's the most expensive car repair to date I've ever had to pay. So here we go. Is it 100, 200, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $1,000? That's a lot of money to fix your car, right? But we're not done. 1,100, 1,200, 13, 14, 15, no, 16, 1,700. That's what I spent on the truck to get an entire brake system done. And that used to be the most expensive car repair. But this one tops it, because it's more. 18, $1,900 to fix your car? $2 grand? We're not done. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, $2,700, 28. That's right, $2,800 repair. So let's get the camera on my sad face so I can explain. Alright guys, so let me explain what's going on here with the car. At the end of June, my inspection was due, so I was planning on getting it inspected. I went for a routine oil change a couple weeks ago, and I was asking about, the car because I knew that the inspection was coming up. Had the guy kind of look it over a little bit, see if there's any issues with it, and he said that there was one strut on the front passenger side that was leaking. All right, really bad. So I whenever things are told to me about my car, I always ask to go into the garage, look on the lift, have them show me exactly what's going on. I suggest you guys do that too. Don't just take anyone's word for it. There are plenty of really awesome, honest mechanics out there, but as you know, there's plenty that aren't. So, don't just, be told what's going on and just believe it. You should probably see things for yourself. So I had him bring me in there and show me and explain what's going on. And so he lifted up the boot, I guess, for the strut and showed, all the old oil and stuff that was just kind of caked all over it. So it's been leaking for a long time. So, looked like a legit complaint. It looked like he was being honest. I know some stuff about cars, but I'm not an expert. You know what I mean? So as new things happen, I learn. I learn from these experiences. So like my car is 6 years old, and I'm thinking, well, why is the strut leaking? It's only 6 years old. So like everyone else, you hop on Google and do some research, and it turns out that that's like the average lifespan. 5 to 6 years is pretty much how long struts last. In fact, a lot of people probably have leaking struts and don't even know it. It's not that big of a deal until all the fluid's gone, and then it's a problem. Then you can have damage to your tires, you have a horrible ride, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so while I was there, I'm like, well, how's the other one? It's something he happened to notice, but he didn't check the other one, so he went to go look, and that one was leaking too. But he said that the other one wasn't as bad. So I'm thinking like, all right, well, I have to get inspected. It's going to fail. For Pennsylvania, they look at suspension work and stuff, and that's something that they check. So it would fail for inspection. And I do the right thing. I follow the law. So I want my car to be inspected. I don't want any problems or get dumb tickets for stuff like that. So I'm thinking, all right, well, I have to bring it to the dealer to get this, get it done. Certain repairs I prefer the dealer to do, even though it's top dollar. A lot of people think it's a waste of money to go to a dealer for any repair. Different train of thought, I guess. You guys know I have such horrible experience with car repairs where I live. I mean, the dealer is it's way more expensive, but it's like the lesser of the evils. I feel like if something goes wrong, I have a better chance of making it right at a dealer, and I have just a little bit more trust just because the mechanics at the dealers are certified. They work specifically on these types of cars, as opposed to like all the garages that are by me, all the quote-unquote mechanics, they're all tire shops. They do They do tire sales, they do oil changes, routine maintenance. They're not doing like big repairs, Now, a strut is not a big deal to repair, and the local place could probably have done that, but I was planning on bringing it to the dealer. Anyway, so skip forward, you know, about a week or two, and I was about to drive Christina somewhere, and as I'm pulling on my driveway, I get, you know, a little bit down the road, about 1,000 feet or so, and all of a sudden, I feel like, and I'm wearing, you know, I'm wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. All right. All of a sudden, I feel like a burning feeling on my foot, and I'm like, and I kind of pulled my foot back, and it felt fine. So I put my foot back, you know, by the gas pedal, and I got on the gas, and it happened again. I'm like, pull my foot back. I thought there was a spider or something biting my foot. Okay, it was an intense burning feeling. And I'm like, holy crap, there's a spider just attacking my foot right now. So I pulled over, put my flashers, you know, my hazard lights on, call them flashers. Got out of the car and looked down there, and I'll tell you, I really wish I found a big juicy spider. But unfortunately, that was not the case. There's hot coolant from the engine leaking onto my foot. How is this even possible, I'm thinking? Why is there, you know, cool, and I know it's coolant, it's bright green, you know, can't be mistaken with any other fluid. And it's like, you know, it's extremely hot. It's burning my foot. Not like so much where I'm going to have a scar from it, but extremely uncomfortable. Not extremely painful. It would, luckily, I wasn't driving so long. I mean, I think coolant gets up to like 200 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. If I had been driving for half an hour or something, it probably would have, you know, scalded me, actually burned me. But because I just turned the car on, it was just, you know, pretty hot. Anyway, so I'm like, why is there coolant dripping on me? Now I'm thinking, all right, well, the coolant's leaking. I can't drive around. So I came back into the driveway. I did a quick video, posted on Instagram. The only thing I'm sitting there thinking for a second, like, what could this possibly be? Why would there be coolant in the car? And the only thing that popped up in my head is that maybe it is the heater core. And the reason I thought of that, actually, Christina mentioned it to me first because we replaced the heater core on the truck, and a very similar thing happened where there was coolant leaking, but in this case it was on the passenger side. So yeah, that's the only thing I can think of after she mentioned it, was that, you know, it's the only reason you'd have coolant inside the cab, you know, on the other side of the firewall. So like, that's not good. That's definitely not good. The heater core itself is not a very expensive part. I mean, it's like 150, 200 bucks, something like that. I mean, that is expensive, but it's all about getting to it. You have to rip the entire dash out. So that was a big blow. Anyway, I had it towed to the dealership where I bought the car, which any major work I get done, I bring it back to that dealership. And just talked to the guy and got the quote. And so turns out both struts on the front are pretty far gone. And although it's not something I have to do to drive the car, like I said, I keep everything legal. I have to do them in order to pass an inspection. So the repair on the front, both struts, and then in addition to having the heater core replaced, which they did confirm, they did like a pressure test and everything, and blah blah blah. So yeah, the total is about $2,800. It's $27 and change with tax. I get to pay New York tax because that's where I bought the car in New York. That sucks. But you know, I'm making this video not to complain. It's not like, oh, boo-hoo me, I have to pay a lot of money to fix my car. You know, I'm an adult, and I've had multiple cars. I've had multiple problems with cars. It doesn't matter what car you have. It costs money. Cars aren't investments. It's just something you need. Now, some people live in the city, and you can get around on public transit or maybe ride a bicycle to work if you're that lucky. But I live in the middle of nowhere. It's not quite rural, but there's nothing around. So a car is a necessity. This is my Chrysler 200 I'm talking about. It's a 2013 Chrysler 200. I did buy it new, made payments, and paid the car off like, I don't know, 8 months ago, 6 months ago, something like that. So now that I own the car, it was a big deal for me to, this is the first new car I ever bought in my life. You know, I've always had used cars. And I wanted something, you know, from scratch that I knew that I maintained. And I do everything that the car is supposed to have done. I follow the, you know, maintenance schedules, everything. From looking at tie rods to changing spark plugs. I do everything to a T to make sure that I'm protecting my investment. You know, I paid a lot of money for this car. And now that it's paid off, I want it to last, you know, a few more years. It's only got 90,000 miles on it, you know, so I'd like to see it last until at least 150,000, or have it for 10 years. You know, that's my original plan when I bought the car. So $2,800 is a lot of money. I mean, I can go out and buy another used car, and that was a consideration for a short period of time. But the problem is that you go out and get another car, because I mean, like, making the video, people are going to say, hey, you know, just get something reliable, don't stick with Chrysler, your car sucks, blah, blah, blah. You know, go out and get a Toyota Camry or, you know, Honda Civic or something. And yes, those are awesome, reliable cars. The problem is you don't know who had them, what they did or didn't do with them, so it's buying another box of question marks. That's what I always say it is. When you buy a new car, it's always, what's going to be the problem? You can get a very reliable car that was abused. So for me, I chose to put the money back into this car knowing that it's going to be, you know, dependable, and there's, you know, nothing else mechanically wrong with it, as far as I know. So it's an investment back into my original investment. Not a lot of people would do that. I think $2,800 is too much for most people to justify. The car is probably worth $5,500 to $6,000, you know, at the moment, with 90K on it, being about 6 years old. So, you know, putting almost $3,000 into a $6,000 car is something, like I said, not a lot of people would do. But, you know, it's just a decision I made. I'm not at a point right now where I want to sell this car. Plus, selling it broken, I'm going to get nothing for it anyway. You know, practically giving it away. You know, it's a hard decision. I sat down with Christina and we talked about it a little bit, and, you know, that's ultimately what we decided, was to just chalk it up and spend the money. It happened to be that I had that cash available because I put money away for taxes. Because, like an idiot, I pay my taxes. It's ridiculous, but I really try the best to do the right thing. That's the right thing to do, is to pay your taxes on time, in full. Can't always do that. But, you know, it's just life. I, you know, have a broken car. Lots of people have broken cars. You figure it out. But I'm just kind of asking, what would you guys do? I know most people would probably not do the repairs. Most people would probably scrap the car, buy a used car for that $2,800. But, you know, even, I don't know, $2,800 doesn't get you much around here, where I live. You know, depending on where you live, yeah, maybe you can get a great, dependable car for that. But here, you're getting a beat-up, older car that you just don't know what's going to happen to it. And honestly, I could pay, you know, $3 grand for a used car and have to put another $3 grand into it to fix it. And then what's the point? You know, at least this car I've had from the beginning. I know it's been maintained. You know, it's just one of those things. My dad had a Chrysler a long time ago. He had a Chrysler LeBaron. And he said, I mean, the engine, everything was dependable, but all the little stuff felt like, you know, all the little stuff fell off the car, literally. He had handles fall off. He had something in the dash just break. I mean, the car was, besides from the mechanical part of it, was a piece of crap. It was just cheap, you know. I love my car. I like it a lot. When I think I've told this before in past videos, but when I went to go get a new car, because I'm like, you know, I'm going to buy a new car. I deserve it. I was single at the time. I had money in the bank. I'm like, I want to get a car. I want to get a brand new car. I want to experience that. You know, I want to have it from scratch and maintain it. And I really wanted a Chrysler 300. I just thought it was such a cool car at the time. 2013 Chrysler 300 specifically. All blacked out. It was just like, it was classy, you know, but it still had a little bit of muscle in it. And, you know, it was just a little out of my reach. I could have done it, but I try to be financially responsible, and I didn't want to, you know, have payments higher than my original plan and stuff. So ultimately I said, all right, that's a little out of my budget. And then while there, I didn't even know the Chrysler 200 existed. All I knew was the 300. And then I think I was also looking at a Dodge Avenger, but I thought that was pretty cool looking too. Anyway, so I'm on the lot. I'm like, all right, 300's out of my budget. I'm like literally about to leave, and I see the 200. I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice too. You know, it's cheaper. I think list was like $24,900, but they had some kind of special, and I was there with a friend who was buying two cars. She was buying a van, and she also ended up getting a 200. So I started looking at them. I'm like, yeah, I can get this for like, you know, 20 out the door. And it was more reasonable, you know, reasonable payments and stuff like that. So again, I think I've told this story before, but I was looking at one. It was kind of like an Auburn color, had a very light interior. It was super classy looking, and I picked that car, and the guys do the salesman's doing all the paperwork and everything for it. And like in the middle of everything, before he starts calling the bank, or you go to the financial guy and they start calling the banks to get the loan. I'm looking around, I'm killing time looking around the parking lot, and I found the black one. It was the Sport Edition. So it had it was all blacked out. It had a sunroof, which is what I really wanted. The first one didn't have a sunroof. So this is all black out, black paint, black interior, bigger wheels, the 18-inch rims. The rims were originally dual tone, so they were like chrome and black. It was cool looking, and I came running in, and I said, I don't want that car, I want this one. I like this one more. And the salesman's kind of like, well, I already started the paperwork, and I said, no, that's not how it works. I'm the customer. I want that car. I don't want to buy this car anymore. All right, I didn't do any financial stuff whatsoever. You can throw out your paperwork and start over. And he was kind of like adamant, like, well, I already started this thing, blah, blah, blah. And then my friend who I was with at the time, she's like, oh, I'll take it. I like it, so I'll take that one. You write him up for the other one. So, yeah, so I got my car. And I've loved it ever since. I mean, it drives great. I like the way it looks. I've done a lot of accessorizing. Some things I like, some things I got tired of and changed. It's just one of those things, you have a lot of, specifically with cars. Again, it doesn't matter what car. You can have a $100,000 car, you can have a $5,000 car. All cars break, all cars have problems, all cars get older and get used, and things just go wrong with them, and you have to fix them. And everyone has to, come to this crossroads where you have to kind of realize what your car's worth and if it's worth it to you to keep putting money into it. Now, some people might have a $2,000 car and just every year they put money into it and they have it, for 20 years. And other people just go through cars like tissues. They don't care. Oh, I need a brake job, screw that. I'll trade it in and get a new one. You know what I mean? So, and there's a lot of people that have different views on cars. Some people don't think much about cars at all. They'll go to a dealership, they'll lease a car or whatever. They don't care. They don't know anything about it. It doesn't matter. And then there's people who are really into cars and they have the the time and the tools to fix them themselves. I wish I could do all this stuff myself. The heater core, I mean, if this is a project car, it could sit in the driveway for months on end, then yeah, I guess I would do that. I would start taking the plastics off myself and the heater. I mean, it's not like it's difficult, it's just time consuming. But it's actually pretty amazing because of this place, YouTube. There's so many home mechanics now. There's so many people who are saving money by doing things at home because they have availability of these mechanics making these videos showing people how to do it. I think that's awesome. But this is my daily car. This is our, reliable car, even though my wife has a Honda Civic, which is awesome. It's very old. It's a 98. So I don't like taking it far. I like to keep it, local, and, it's good for that purpose. We didn't get it to drive, hours on end. And some of our driving is very far. So, just one of those things. I'm just kind of talking out loud, just sharing my life experience here. Like I said, I mean, it's not a pity thing. It's not, oh boy, boo-hoo me. No, this happens to all kinds of people. Sometimes people's engines blow up or transmissions go, and it's devastating because these days there's very few people who have a bunch of money in the bank and are prepared for such large financial I don't know what you call it, disasters, problems, I don't know. But things happen, all kinds of things happen. Sometimes you have a leak in your roof and you got to get your roof repaired, $20,000, or your septic goes, you need a new septic, $25,000. So a lot of people get hit with these big financial burdens. On the grand scheme of things, it's just a car, but it's a car that I need, so I have to invest money back into it. So, it's just one of those things. It's a big deal because it's like the timing of everything. I wanted to fix the truck not too long ago, just a couple months, and I had to pay $1,700 for a brand new brake job. My wife's car, we had inspected, the Civic, and everything was awesome on it except her subframe was rusted out. There was a hole probably the size of like, I don't know, a softball. And it was right in the middle, and integrally, I don't think it was that big of a deal, but of course, she failed inspection for it. So that was like $800 to find a subframe and have that put in. But again, because her car's in great shape, especially for the year, we made that decision to put the money back into the vehicle. Not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people would pay, you know, especially for an older car like that. In fact, when the mechanic failed, she got rims for her car. She wanted to get, you know, they're cheap. They're like $70 or $80 rims or something like that, but they're nicer than, you know, the stock Steelies that were on there. And we were there to also have those put on. And the guy's like, well, you know, you're going to fail inspection for this. He brought me in the garage, showed me everything. And he's like, do you still want me to put the rims on? Because he's thinking we're just going to sell the car because it's just so common. Someone's going to say, yeah, I'm not going to pay $800 to fix this car. I'll just sell it and buy a new one. But no, we wanted to protect our investment and enjoy the car, so we fixed it. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Today's day and age, we're so used to, as a whole, like everything in our life, we're so used to just throwing things out. Things have become more disposable these days, and not a lot of people are willing to fix things anymore. You know, if there's something wrong with it, you fix it. You don't just get rid of it. At least that's my and my wife's view on things. With our cars, like our truck, things keep breaking, we just keep fixing it instead of selling it and getting a new truck or a new car. My car and her car. So we have 3 examples now of just sinking money into it. Cars are money pits, period. Unless you're, you know, restoring a classic car or something, you're probably not going to get your money back that you're putting into it. But I'm good with that. I'm an adult. I realize that now. But, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm just rambling on at this point. Just kind of giving an update because it was definitely unexpected. And, you know, I'm paying top dollar because I'm going to the dealer. But again, it's like the lesser of the 2 evils. If I go with a local tire shop and have them rip my dash apart, I feel like something's going to go wrong. Something always goes wrong. My biggest concern, at the dealer or not, is like once you start taking plastic pieces off, there's clips and, you know, fragile tabs and stuff, and all those things get broken. You know, I just, knock on wood, I'm hoping that you know, there's not a rattle or something that's really going to bug me, because that'll bug me. But the difference is that because it's the dealer, if I, you know, drive away and something's rattling or something's not right, I'm going to keep bringing it back there until they fix it. You know what I mean? So I have a little bit of that insurance that they're going to, you know, hopefully take care of me in that sense. But yeah, it's just one of those things. You shouldn't have to worry, especially when you're spending that much money. These guys, like I said, when you're working with the dealer, the mechanics they went to school, they're certified and everything, so of course they're getting top dollar for their time. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And again, in the comments, let me know what's the most you spent on a car repair. $2,800 is hard to beat. I don't think I'll ever spend more than that to fix a car. Poof. Just, you know. Anyway, that's all. Have a great one, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.